Hi, it's Annette Tarpley from the United States. Sorry, I was having some problems, technical problems. So, hope that you all can join, and if somebody can see me out there, please let me know. So I'm live from the United States. I live in the state of Virginia. I've been a poet, um, a writer all of my life, but didn't really start writing poetry prolifically until about the last about year and a half. And since then, I've written a couple of books. I'm on my third book, which is an anthology. I write prolifically now. I write every day and really enjoy it, and I'm very active in the poetry community. I'm well known throughout it and have won several awards and so forth. I run the poetry site, The Passion of Poetry. We are just turning over to 11,000 members in just a little over a year, and very proud of that. And all of the members have a great admin team. So The Passion of Poetry is near and dear to my heart. So good to be here. Thank you, Sargam, for having me on your site and for allowing me this opportunity. Thank you, dear Rita Chu, for inviting me to this event and having me as one of the guests that you chose. So thank you so much. I'm to represent or introduce to you of some poets. They all are fairly well known throughout the community. Unfortunately, my printer wasn't working today, so I had to read off my phone. So I'm going to try to back this up a little bit and see if you can see a little bit better. So the first one I would like to introduce is someone who is well known through the poetry community. He has been my friend for about a year and a half, and his name is Timothy Payton. Timothy is also from the United States, and he lives in West Virginia, which actually isn't too far away from me. We have yet to meet in person, but someday perhaps we will. So Timothy Payton was born in June 18th of 1976. He is an American writer, artist, and award-winning poet. He's a book reviewer, literary critic, tutor. He also does a lot of voice recitations, and he is widely recognized public figure through the poetry community. And he is well known as also a humanitarian and ambassador. He's ambassador of humanity representing Ghana, West Africa, and the universal ambassador of peace representing France. So Timothy began writing at the age of 15, and he would write for his family and friends as a hobby. He has helped and encouraged numerous writers, and he has a selfless contribution to the world of literature and continues to thrive and enlighten the world around him. Timothy has also written a book, and it's titled Scattered Colors, and it's available on Amazon. So Timothy is a wonderful writer and very near and dear to my heart. He's a very good friend. The poem that I would like to read for Timothy is actually called The Grace of the Stoic Seahorse. This is actually a poem that we did together as a collaboration. It was a picture of a mermaid and a seahorse, and they were gliding along in the waters. And so what we did was I showed him the picture, and we did this one night. And it's called The Grace of the Stoic Seahorse. In the sea of mirth, the mermaid gracefully swam along with the greatest of ease. Sailors of the waters would admire her as they watched her in the warm summer sea breeze. Her skin glistened with youthful effervescence, having shimmering eyes like diamonds. Flowing blonde locks of golden waves, her legendary beauty was known throughout the islands. Her fin gliding effortlessly through the waters, feathering through the rippling tides. Within the vast blue ocean, her expansive playground, she was so free. Turquoise in color, camouflaged by the seabed flora and the depths where the sea creatures reside. Within the vast blue ocean, her expansive playground, she felt so free and at home. Yet she yearned for companionship and for direction, a mentor and confidant, no longer feeling alone. In the depths of the cool water, she found a kindred spirit in the form of a stoic seahorse. The seahorse would they befriended one another, they glided along, the unlikely pair, an unprecedented force. The seahorse would share his wisdom, enlightening the mermaid with knowledge and sage advice. Traveling side by side, they were inseparable as they glided throughout their majestic Atlantic paradise. The graceful movements of the mermaid tantalizingly flowed, mesmerizing sailors and sea creatures alike. She gained her skills by mimicking the stoic seahorse, the attention of the onlookers they did strike. Legendary stories were passed down and told into generations as time took its course. It began with a beautiful mermaid traveling through the depths of the abyss, who was saved by the grace of the stoic seahorse. So that is this Grace of the Stoic Seahorse by Timothy Payton and myself. It was a collaborative effort. The next poet I would like to introduce is one that has come to my site. Recently, actually made him administrator of my site because he was very active and engaging. And his poetry is beautiful, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. He's amazing. He had written a book, I'm not sure right off the top of my head what the name of it is, but I know he told me it sold, I don't know, like 2,500 copies or more, so that's quite a feat. His name is Richard Lamoureux. He is from the beautiful British Columbia in Canada on the shores of Lake Okanagan. He is happily married. He's been married for 27 years to his wife Mary, who's a nurse. And they have a son, Matthew, who lives close by. And then they have his wife, and recently had a grandson who's very proud of. What interests him is he just has many interests, writing, courses, and interest, healing and interactions with others on their healing journeys. He tends to write from that kind of depth. He writes on social issues, and many of his poems deal with human rights. His goal is to have his poetry appreciated by poets and non-poets alike. Besides poetry, he loves being physically active. He's very active doing many activities, and he said he lives in one of the most beautiful places on earth. So through his career, he's been worked at various things in communications, banking, human resources, financial side of the luxury automotive market. Says he's a kid from northern Ontario who had difficulty in school, so he thinks his career is somewhat of a miracle, his career path. He also enjoys being associated with a local gospel mission, and he has been a volunteer barber for over 16 years. And through that mode or method or interactions, he has been taught much by the homeless people and their needs and unfortunate situations. So kudos to him. This is a poem that I came across, and it absolutely gives me chills. The name of it is Cup of Empty. And this is how it goes. She pours him a cup of empty from a teapot of childhood dreams. He loves the sound of her giggles. Hers is the light of 1,000 moonbeams. Moonbeams and butterflies, petals from roses, counting out loud, crossing fingers and toesies. Unicorns and Teddy all enjoying a sip. Cups full of empty, never spill, can't drip. He lifts a cup of empty and gives his baby a wink. Dear darling, this is so delicious. It is the very best I've ever had to drink. In the evening, he turns to his bottle. With his friends, he goes to the bar. She faithfully waits for hours, thinking, dear daddy, I wonder where you are. Moonbeams and butterflies, petals from roses, counting out loud, crossing fingers and toesies. Unicorns and teddy all enjoying a sip. Cups full of empty, never spill and can't drip. She sets their table and faithfully waits, hoping that Daddy will be coming home soon. But her tired eyes give way to sleepy as her teddy watches under the moon. He comes home way after midnight, sees his angel asleep on the floor, smiles and sips a sip of empty, and thinks, I shouldn't drink anymore. Years have a way of taking. She doesn't wait for Daddy at home. She has found a new kind of pleasure. Her hunger grew from being alone. She fills her veins with her empty, has dreams she can't explain, trades her body in those giggles in hopes of escaping her pain. Moonbeams and butterflies, petals from roses, counting out loud, crossing fingers and toesies. Unicorns and teddy all enjoying a sip, cups full of empty, never spill and can't drip. Daddy sat home, he waited. His baby girl, she never came home. He still drowns himself in his bottle, but now he drinks all alone. Her teacup sits on the counter, empty of her childhood dreams. He misses the sounds of her giggles and the light of 1,000 moonbeams. He lifts a cup full of empty. To his lips he takes another drink, empties out the rest of the bottle as his pain is poured down the sink. Moonbeams and butterflies, petals and roses, counting out loud, crossing fingers and toesies. Unicorns and teddies all enjoying a sip, cups full of empty, never spill and can't drip. He traded what was real for his empty as she relinquished her childhood dreams. Now his baby has flown to heaven on the light of 1,000 moonbeams. He wishes he could be with his baby, lifts her cup and gives her a wink, says, this is so delicious. It is the best I've ever had to drink. Almost makes me want to cry, so it's very, very touching. And that is by Richard Lamoureux, and I hope I am pronouncing his name correctly. So I will read to you now my next poet that I would like to share with you is a poet that I met on in the community a while back, about a year and a half ago. His name is Sargam Event, and he is from the UK, and he is quite the dynamic poet and quite excellent. He had written a book that I had purchased, and it had a lot of romantic poetry in it. So I coined him the name of the romantic poet, and that's kind of what I refer to him as, because he has very lovely romantic poetry. And so Sarfraz, a little bit about Sarfraz is, if I can find his bio here, I don't know why, there we go. He is from the UK, and he has, excuse me just a moment, he's from the UK, and he has been writing poetry for 19 years, and he has written a few books, and one of them was with me this last year in February of 2021. We actually wrote a book together. It's called Two Hearts, and you can get it off of Amazon. For some reason, I am missing his insert here, so I'm trying to find it. Let me see if I can find it in this instead. But Sarfraz works as like a counselor. He also is doing quite a bit of work for me in the poetry community, as far as he's editing the anthology for the Passion of Poetry. And he just came out with a new book and it's like Stab the Pomegranate. I'm getting it today. The book that we came out with together, Two Hearts, that's this book. He's also come out with a children's book. My Teacher is an Alien, and his first book, I think, is called 84 Pens. I am missing his information, so that's why I am befuddled. So he has written, let me see if I can find it here somewhere else, since I can't seem to get it where I am. So I will go to Plan B. I apologize greatly here. So Sarfraz Ahmad, he also, I'm sorry. Yes, Rita.
Yes. You have to just go there on the Sargam platform, and there is one live button, right? You just have to press the live button.
I am live, aren't I?
You've already started?
Yes, I think so. I have a call from Rita.
No, okay. There is still 5 minutes left. That is why I called up. Okay, sorry then. Then you continue. I will tell others to cut.
Okay. Okay, that was Rita. So she didn't think I was live. Hopefully I am. I'm not getting any comments. I'm not sure if I set things up right. But I will find for you Sarfraz's piece that I have in here. And here he is. So I didn't give him total justice in his bio. Anyway, he is also an administrator of My Passionate Poetry site. He has done many collaborative works. He has written many poems with other poets such as Jack Tomlinson, Dennis Brown, myself, Pratibha, Savani, and he's been world renowned and recognized for his contributions to poetry. He has done a lot in the poetry community in the United States. In New York, he's done a lot of open mics, and he's known worldwide. He's really quite a dynamic poet, and love him dearly. So Fraz's book is called, or not book, his poem that I want to read is called Last Night. And it goes like this. Last night I dreamt the same dream. It constantly plays on my mind. Last night I was haunted by the past, what I had left behind. Last night we walked together, hand in hand. Together we watched the sunset. Together we watched on golden sand. Last night we watched and sat and watched such a magnificent view. We sat together, me and you. Last night we became part of the scenery, and just for a moment, just for a second, it was like it used to be, together forever till the bitter end. Now, here I am with a heart that cannot mend. No matter how hard I have tried, every day I walk across this cold land, trying not to cry. For all that I have to hold on to are memories of you, something to save me from being alone. All I have is a gravestone, a piece of granite that beckons me, a headstone whose weary eyes look up at me. And that is from his new book called Stab the Pomegranate. And that just came out. My issue is supposed to be here today, so I'm very excited about it. So Sarfraz Ahmad, he is from the UK, and he is a wonderful poet. So I have introduced my poets. I have, I'm supposed to nominate somebody, and I'll do that now prior to getting into my own poetry. So out of the poets that I have introduced today, I would love to nominate them all, actually. And but I'm going to nominate Sarfraz Ahmad. And I think that you will be delighted once you see him. He's quite a dynamic personality. So, so I would like to start out with a poem that I recently wrote. This received quite a bit of attention. It's called The Night I Touched God. I feel all alone in the world, people too busy to care, hurrying on with their lives. Of me, they are all unaware. Home alone by myself, the quiet has a deafening chill. No one cares, not even God, for that moment I feel. Sitting outside in the dark, aware now, music fills the air. Crickets playing their string instruments, a single locust in solitaire. I look up at the sky above me, a tear trails down my face. I shout, God, do you hear me? Do you really inhabit the space? Something suddenly happens. I feel an eerie chill up my spine. Being angry at God is an infraction. It very well might be a crime. The moon starts to appear bigger. It is lit with a luminous glow. Then I hear a whisper that is carried as a wind starts to blow. My child, I am here beside you. Don't you feel my kiss in the wind? I have been with you all along. Do you not feel my presence within? I look to the heavens above me, a star so bright in the sky I now see. I tremble, I am very shaken. The tears pour out, I fall down on my knees. There is an overwhelming feeling of love this night when I touched God. I now believe and trust I'm in his child, and on a heavenly path I will now trod. So that is The Night I Touched God. The Two Became One is one I also recently wrote that got a lot of attention. I've often seen couples, I've never experienced this myself, unfortunately, but I've seen couples that are very much in love and have that glow throughout, their marriage. They'll look at each other still with love and adoration. You can see it in their eyes, even as they get old. So I wrote this poem called The Two Became One. We were two, and now we are one. Our marital lives have just begun. Dressed in white, I walk the aisle. You look dashing and you beguiled. Let me see. I'm sorry, I have a message. Don't know if I'm live or not. Dear, please join for live. Okay. I am going to stop this because I thought I was live and I don't know that I am. So it says that I'm live. Okay. Wait. Cancel. Okay. No, I think I am live because now I think I see people tuning in. So I'm so sorry. I'm having technical difficulties, so I apologize, you all. I will try to reread my poem now, and let me see if I can read it through another means so I don't have to lower my screen. So The Two Became One. I'll start it again. And this is again about the older couple, or they become old. We were two and now we are one. Our lives have just begun. Dressed in white, I walked the aisle. You looked dashing and you beguiled. You took my hand and you bestowed a kiss. I was in sheer ecstasy, brimming in bliss. You raised my veil, you kissed your bride. Eyes of adoration, love you can't hide. Sealing our promises with a ring. I am your queen and you are my king. A castle on the hill we will reside. Forever faithful, our lives intertwined. Our children came, our lives got busy. They grew in a whirl, it made one dizzy. The house was quiet, we were on our own. We still had each other, we were never alone. Together we grew gray and we grew old. Our love never faltered, it became bold. You looked at me with love in your eyes. a bond in devotion one cannot deny. When I die, I want to be with you. Your handsome face will be all I view. The heavens will open, angel songs I'll hear. Meet me on the other side, my beloved, my dear. And that is that. So I do see some people on here. Hello, everyone. Hello, dear Rita. I'm glad that I'm finally coming through, and I'm so sorry that that it. I wasn't sure all the technical difficulties, so I need one of those things that says yes, you're here. So, and Sarfraz, my dear friend, hello. Between my printer not printing off the things I needed to print off and some technical difficulties, it's real. Live television is real, or live recording. So I think I have a little bit of time to read yet because I started a little late at 10 after. So I think I will read a couple more pieces from this book. And I'm trying to get something that I just came across. I'm kind of in a I'll read this one. It's called In the Wintry Haze of My Mind. In the wintry haze of my mind, I see a cold front coming in. Memories of you gives me chills from the depths instilled within. The recollection of your touch warms my body, melting ice. Thoughts of being in your arms, titillating. I'm wrapped in a vice. Blustery gusts of wintry winds, my spirit iced, it longs to be fleeing. Your warm lips envelop my own, the heat lending to my wintry freeing. You gazed into my icy pools, you silenced my chilling quivers, pulsating blood flowing through my veins like hot springs fed rivers. You are the spring in my world, the only season my heart will pine. You have broken the cast spell. Gone is the wintry haze of my mind. So that is that one. There is one that I wrote that is this one. In Sarfraz Ahmed is on here. Hi, Sarfraz, and I haven't written too many COVID related things, and I very rarely would say it's COVID. I would allude to something because I just didn't want to give COVID any more power than it has. It has way too much power and control. So one of the things, yes, Two Hearts is amazing. Whoops, there we go. And there is my co-writer, Sarfraz. Whoops, which way are we? There he is, from the UK. Thank you for joining me, dear friend. So I wrote this one, and it really is about COVID, but it doesn't really say it, but it speaks. It's the bench speaking. It's a picture was a bench in a park all by itself. It's called The Lonely Bench. In the park I sit, a wooden bench, surrounding trees outlined by a fence. The trees now turning to amber hues. The streets are vacated with ill news. It has been some time since passerby. In the distance I can hear the sirens cry. Once lovers had adorned my seat, now abandoned, where do they meet? In the daytime I'm greeted by rays of sun. Children no longer frolic around me in fun. The birds still sing and fly, then rest on their bough. Cats still pass by me, greeting me with their meow. Streets wet with heaven's tears, reflecting golden lights. The clouds give way to a dark, starry night. In the distance I can hear the clap of thunder. No people with umbrellas, I sit here and wonder. My life in solitude, I miss the attention so much. I miss the heat of bodies. I miss human touch. So that was The Poor Bench. Hello, everyone. Hi. Hello. Thank you so much. There is a poem that I wanted to find from you all, and I'm going to try to find it real fast. But this is a very important poem in my life, and it is called Desiderata, and I very often quote a little piece from it. But I'm going to try to actually find this poem and read it to you because I think it has a very important message. It gives lots of wisdom, and it is throughout the poem. It was written in 1927 by Max Ehrmann, and I'm going to try to read this on my little phone, which will be a little so this will be the last thing I'll do, and then I'll say goodbye. And so it's Desiderata by Max Ehrmann, written in 1927. It's full of wisdom. And it starts like this. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or even bitter, for there will always be greater or lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career. However humble, it is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution with your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But do not let this blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection, nor be cynical about love. For in face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as a grass. Take kindly the counsel of years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength and spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings, for many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. And beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You're a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you may conceive him to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations and the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. And that is Desiderata by Max Ehrmann. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Please forgive me. But it was a pleasure to be here, and I thank everyone. And I guess, again, my nominee is here right now, and that is Sarfraz Ahmed. So he will be here with you soon. And bless you all. Many love and blessings to you all in the poetry community. Love you all, and peace be with you. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you for watching. It's Annette from Virginia and the United States. And I look forward to seeing Sarfraz's presentation soon. Take care, you all. Bye.